Alright, welcome back to our tutorial, and what we're going to do today is teach you how to use the SD Wave. There's a lot of different ways that you can get to it. Once you get your password, your login ID, you go up to the silhouette at the top here and you log. If you've logged in, you will see the silhouette now. It always takes you back to the first page, the home page when you log in. That's just how the system is. And this is my account that I use for testing and for training. So I'm logged into it already. I am going to go, the simplest way to get to it is to click on broadcast. We're right back here in the dashboard. So the dashboard area is where you do all the business that we do here on Rev Media TV. It has all your archives, which will be in the video. It has all your channels. It has all your playlists. It has your events and your account, profile, and billing. So that stuff you could jump into in another video that we have called Getting Started. So today's the SD Wave. So what we're going to do is pick our channel, Rev Media TV. And so you would pick your channel, click the RM. You see right here I have the recorder on. Make sure that it's not on off. You always have to have it on. And the reason being is if you're broadcasting and that is not on, it will not create an archive for you. You will not have any video. I get several calls every week asking about where's my video. Well, if you don't have it that on, your video is probably going to be in a hard drive if you were wise enough to keep the record on the SD player or on whatever device you're using. Right here is option number 3, which we're going to pick what broadcast we're going to use. Before we jump into the web broadcaster or the SD Wave, which we're going to train on today, I'm going to talk to you about your configuring a third-party video broadcaster. This is your RTMP and this is your stream name. RTMP and stream name. These right here, the entire codes have to be. The entire code has to be exactly like it is, no variation, exactly like it is, copied and pasted into your devices, broadcasting devices. Different ones we have is we have an Apple broadcaster, Android broadcaster, we have Flash broadcaster, which we're starting to get away from, Adobe Flash Media Live Encoder. Then we have Wirecast, VidBlaster, and TriCaster. Well, if you have the big bucks, you're using TriCaster. If you have a smaller budget, you can probably use the VidBlaster. I think about $150 or so. And Wirecast is going to cost you $4.99. I think maybe $3.99 on a coupon. Sometimes they have that out there discount. And those are all every one of these are third-party broadcasters. We're not associated with them. We just use them, or they're just compatible for our system. Wirecast is going to give you one of the best videos you see. A lot of churches we use have switched to that, and it's been helping them switch between cameras. If you want camera switch in, if you want to be able to roll another video in between your services or during your services, if you want to have lower thirds and you want to have scriptures on there, Wirecast is the way to go, and just some training. Again, we don't offer that training. It's not our product. I still get calls even after the churches have switched to that to use for their broadcaster, and I'm like, hey, we just let you know that you can use it on this. There's no support on that area. Anyway, let's go back to what we're talking about. So remember again, these RTMP server address and the stream name must be inputted in those devices. On these devices up here, the SD Wave and the web-based Flash broadcaster, those are our devices, so you don't have to go and put anything in there. They're ready to roll. So if you want to broadcast, you hit broadcast now, and you can use the browser that you currently have, whether it's Google, Internet Explorer, or Firefox. Most of the time, this web-based Flash broadcaster will work on them. Again, it's a web browser base, so if you don't have the most recent update, sometimes you won't see it. And the way you know that it's not compatible is if your camera's on, everything's connected, and then you just get a black screen. And that means try another browser somewhere else and make sure that camera's on, and make sure that camera's not being used for anything else as well. The USB cameras or cameras coming into the computer can only go to one source. So you want to make sure that nothing else is on that's using that camera. All right, so you just click that. It takes you to the video authorization, where you authorize video and you authorize the microphone to be used. And after that, you just do your settings and you broadcast. Simple, easy, quick way to go. But it's only available to Flash-based devices. So if you want to get into Apple, Android, anything that's now new in the market, you have to use the SD Wave. You have to use the SD Wave. You hit download right here, and it's free. Download here, you save, you execute it, you let it go, you give it permission, and then after it's installed, I'm going to close this out here. After it's installed, it's going to be on a desktop. You have a desktop icon right there. I have mine on my, oh, there it is, kind of loud. Okay, here we are. So this is the SD Wave. You should see this after you've opened up the icon and you log in. And go ahead and log into my admin account. All right, and we are gonna rev test. So you got to have a camera and video running. So I have both. So you may see some audio coming up and everything. We'll just put the audio all the way down. Anyway, let's go through some settings real quick. One of the settings is your broadcast video. If you come into SD Wave and you do not have these boxes checked, that means this is your video, this is your audio. If those two things aren't checked, that means it's not compatible, or you have to make some adjustments. And this right here needs to be on, because if this isn't checked and it's not resizing the 640 by 480, then you will not be sending out your broadcast. A lot of ministries have called and said they don't see their broadcast. They have to have this box checked. Now this is the saved file. This is your backup in case it doesn't go to the site. Then you do have this backup on your computer, and I've had churches and ministries and myself load up a backup because it didn't get caught in the server. Streaming is no science. It's just simple. You send it out, and the only problem is if it gets out of sync, if your internet begins to lag, or if it drops a frame because video, it will mess up your recording. You will not get an image, no matter how great a system you have. All it takes is one little blip in either the internet power or just the frames are going too fast for the internet, then the recording won't even process. So that's just stuff you need to know about, things I've learned since doing this for about 5 to 6 years now. So it's just something you need to know. And this is the one I want you to show right here. It has to say idle. If it says idle, then we're good to go, and you can hit start broadcast. Let's just go through some settings that you may need. Go to video. On the video, as you can see, this little drop down menu, USB broadcaster. I have different ones I could use, but I use the USB camera here, and you can see that's my camera. Put my hand up there. Okay, so that's our camera, that's our format. You want to do your input size. Because we're using the SD Wave, it stands for standard definition. SD Wave needs to use 640 by 480. That's really the only option I have to go all the way for it. So 640 by 480 should be your input size. Now you can get away with 720 by 480, but 480 needs to be in there, and 640 or 720 is better. So frame rate is 30 frame rates. Your bit rate needs to be 512. I know that the system puts it at 10. I think it comes at 10. What does it come at? 1024. That's way too high. What that bit rate is doing is it's taking your image, and it's taking your bandwidth and it swallows it completely up. So you don't want that. What you want to do is, depending on your internet, you're going to have to adjust this down all the way to 350. Adjust it down 350. That's about the lowest you can go. And then you want to come up as high as maybe 750. You can go up to 1,000 if you need to. But your bit rate, to be safe and just average internet, 512 should work. If you see some stuttering or something slowing down on your frames, and you're seeing that the minister is preaching but the words aren't catching up, or that the minister is walking and it takes a few seconds and all of a sudden it looks like he warped to another part of the stage, well, that means your frame rate. You're going to have to come down to 15. It doesn't give you the best image, but it will be okay if you go to 15. The image gets a little bit grainier, but if you keep up you do the right mixture between 20 and mess with the bit rate a little bit, maybe you need to go back to 512, and you just mess with it back and forth, you should be able to get a good mixture on what works. But 30 frame rate's the best that you can use and most recommended. This is de-interlaced. Do not touch that. Leave it at no. All right, so that's all good. It automatically saves. So once you hit start and you broadcast with it, it never changes. I haven't had it change yet. Usually it's user error if it does. And audio is easy. Whatever, I'm using this microphone right now, so that's why it's popping up and down. You choose your microphone device. A lot of times, if it does not recognize the USB, you're gonna have to come in through the mic port of your computer, and you're just gonna have to go from your mixer to the mic port. There's adapters, very inexpensive, $5 to $6 that you can buy those even less. You can get a USB Tascam. You can get an AIM audio one, and those are all good. And those work as well. So anything USB coming in, bringing in the audio is fine as well. So just have to get that and make sure it works. So that's just stuff you can search online. There's a real inexpensive one, and I'll show it to you in just a second. I don't even have it anymore. Nope, I don't have it anymore. I'm thinking I already sold it. But it's called K World. It's capital K World, and it's a USB device. It works fine. It's only $25, $29 on Amazon. Everyone that's used it has had good reports. Anyway, here's your settings: audio device, microphone. You make sure your stereo is on. Make sure your sample rate's at 44/100. That's CD quality, and then make sure your bit rate's at about 128. It's about the lowest you can go. That's all you need for the audio. I've been doing radio for such a long time now, and 128 is the highest you really need to go. So you're fine with that. Anyway, those are the settings. The other thing is the encoder. Don't mess with anything here. This is your chat window. If you do want to chat, you can hit the chat window. But once you hit the chat window, it's going to open up a few things. But let me finish what we're doing here. That's the send video, the send audio, the resize output. All need to be checked and saved to file. Now, the resize, your output, this needs to match. This here needs to match. It needs to match whatever you have on video. So our 640 by 480, if you notice, 640 by 480. So that means that's going to be a compatible broadcast. It's going to have no issues syncing, and that's pretty good. So then you just hit start, and that was it. And you're good to go. Now, there's other things you can do. Do not hit activate. It's already activated. It's going to keep asking you to activate it if you hit activate. Do not hit that. And then the other thing is your chat windows here. It's going to take you to a place where you can talk to your audience. As that's broadcasting, this is going to pop up, and this is where you can type in your messages and chat with your audience back and forth. And then you can get their prayer request or however you want to do it. It's fine. And the other thing is to make a shortcut to your channel, you hit that little button right there, and boom, the Rev Test channel is offline. So there you go. Real simple. Anyway, let me log into a different one real quick. I'm going to log into a different one. But anyway, that's pretty much all the things that you can do with it. Another thing is, let's see, let me log out here. I'm going to change to this other one real quick and see if the chat window looks different, because I don't think okay, I'm making us both deaf. Anyway, the chat window, I don't think I have the chat window authorized here. So yeah, the chat window's there, so you just type, hello, hit that, boom. So that's your username. That's hello. People that respond will go back and forth. It's real simple. They would have to. This is where you can modify, and you can close the chat, and you're done. So that's one of the ways, and the other way is by hitting this again, and it should have a broadcast. I just want to show you how the broadcast looks. And you see, there's a chat that we did. Hello, users, and then there's a little bit of the broadcast. I don't know what this is actually. Oh, it's my thing. Pretty cool. Okay, anyway. That is pretty much how you can run your broadcast. You would just hit start, and I'll show you hitting start. And the broadcast is going through to the Rev Media TV channel. So that's pretty much it. You run it, you let it run, and you're broadcasting SD Wave. If you have an iPhone or iPad, you could pull it up right away. And it takes about 3 to 4 seconds hesitation, but it starts hitting once it starts broadcasting out there. That's pretty much it. And then you just hit stop and give it a second, let the thing finish buffering, and you're fine. And then you just close it. And that's pretty much all there is to use an SD Wave. God bless.